In this lesson, I will explain how to structure a React application. It's always a good idea to plan ahead on how you structure your app in order to save time on the long run. With this practice, you'll understand how you break your app down into components in order to promote reusability. And you'll understand how data will flow in your application. So let's look at the word lookup app mockup. I've gone ahead to break the mockup into components. So the old page here is going to be the app component. Inside the app component, we're going to have smaller components. We're going to have the input search box here. This is where we're going to input search term and search. And then we're going to have the body. I'm going to call the body meanings. And inside the body, we would have a meaning. And the meaning represents like the parts of speech and the definitions. So you have a meaning here. This is for the part of speech of the noun. You have part of speech of a verb. You could have an adjective, as many as you have. So we're going to create one component. We're going to call it meaning. And the meaning is going to have definition. So a word can have multiple definitions in a particular part of speech. So we call this definition. So now let's look at how we're going to structure it in React, in the code. I'm going to go ahead and create a folder called components. It's always a good idea to have this folder. If our app had many pages, I could have created another folder called pages. So these would help structure our application. So you know what pages you have in your application, and you know what the components are that are used by a particular page. But in this case, we have only one page. So create the input, let's call it input search. And let's create the meanings, and for meaning. And then lastly, we're going to create a definition. Now that we have this, let's write some code. So this is going to be export default function definition. Okay. And then let's just return definitions. I'm going to do the same for the other components that I created. Call this input search. Okay, so in previous React versions, I think before React version 18, you need to explicitly import React, but we don't need that anymore in newer versions. Anyway, so let's go ahead and compose our app here. Actually, we're going to need two components on the app page directly. We're going to need the input search. So input search. Okay, we're going to need that. And then we're going to need the meanings component. And right here, we're going to put this one here. We're going to have input search component here. And then we're going to have a meanings component. So let's see what it looks like now. Okay, so now we have the word app, the search, and the meanings, and we're going to update this very soon. But before we do that, I want to change the title here. Change this one here to say word lookup app. Okay, and finally, I want to remove the icon here, so I'm going to remove this one. Okay, I'm going to stop here. In the next lesson, we're going to build the UI.